side. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajanandana. Yashodanandana Brajajanandana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami To Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami To Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So we welcome all of you to the second session on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday, in the first session, the summary of the first chapter was discussed by my friend Kranti Prabhu, and he summarized various reasons why Arjuna declined to fight the war. So Arjuna, when we listen to the reasons of Arjuna, it is so convincing that what he is saying is more correct than indulging him in the fight, because all the reasons appear to be sane. For example, he mentioned that in the enemy side, he sees his relatives who are his brothers, grandfathers, and teachers like Drona, grandfather like Bhishma. He is refusing to fight against them on the moral grounds because they are seniors, they are teachers, and he should not fight with them, despite the fact that they were the aggressors. They put Pandavas, I didn't mean Bhishma or Drona put Pandavas in difficulties, but the Duryodhana party was placing Pandavas in great difficulties. They tried to kill the Pandavas by setting fire. They gave poison to Bhima to kill him, and also in the false under the false pretext of the gambling, they sent Pandavas to forest for 13 years. And at last, when Krishna was asking for just one village for each brother to rule, because Kshatriyas have to rule, they are administrators, and they also have to live. So they can live by ruling only. So he was just, Krishna acted as messenger of Pandavas, just requesting for one village for each brother to rule. Even that was denied. And so war was, and also I forgot, they tried to disrobe Draupadi and tried to insult Draupadi. So undergoing all these tribulations, and still Arjuna was declining to fight the war. So that is the symptom of moral person. He was saying even if he were to lose the war, he would not fight the war, because after winning the war, how can he
Hare
enjoy?
Krishna, Hare Hare.
how can he enjoy after killing all his relatives? If I need to enjoy after the war, I should have all my relatives, all my brothers, so I can live with them together and I can enjoy, I can share the wealth, show the wealth and enjoy. That is the way
Hare
people
Krishna,
enjoy.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. You want to ask something? So that is the way people enjoy in this world. They want to share the wealth, and then show that pride, have the pride and enjoy. So he was saying, therefore, there is no point in killing my relatives, killing my brothers, and then enjoy. And then he was also placing other reasons. If the family is destroyed, then the family traditions will be stopped. Now everything is happening nicely because we have elders to teach their children what to do, how to follow the culture, how to give the culture to the next generation. All that will be stopped. And then the woman member of the family will be left without husband, which is also not good for the woman. So he was placing all these reasons, and at last he was saying, even if I were to win the war, I don't want this kingdom. He's not just saying that I don't want the earthly kingdom. Even if I were to be awarded the heavenly kingdom, I still would not want to fight the war. So he is not only rejecting this earthly opulences, earthly aishwaryams, he is also rejecting the heavenly aishwaryams. So therefore, he is now confused. And in the second chapter, till first 10 verses, he continues to lament, and then from the 11th verse, Bhagavan starts to speak to dispel the illusion of Arjuna. So therefore, let us start the second chapter today, and we are dedicating this session to our beloved master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. So in this chapter, Bhagavan, let me just give the gist of this chapter. So in this chapter, Bhagavan is going to start to speak about the Atmanyanam, the knowledge of the self. So the reason why Arjuna was worrying was because he was considering everything from the bodily conception, with understanding that everyone is the body, he is the body, his relatives are considered as relatives because they are connected through bodily relations. And so the Krishna strikes the root of all the problem that Arjuna is facing. The main problem is the illusion of considering the body as Atma. So therefore, he is starting to speak by introducing the knowledge of Atma. So in the first half of the chapter, Bhagavan is going to speak about various attributes of Atma. We keep hearing in the Vedantic texts about Atma very often. And we keep hearing that Atma is the object to be attained. Upanishads glory the Atmanyanam to that extent that if one has the knowledge of Atma, one is automatically liberated. So by jnana comes the liberation, Upanishads say in various places. So therefore, because liberation is going to take one from all the difficulties, all the sorrow, moroseness, he is giving that understanding to give the immediate relief to Arjuna. But then, merely by knowing that there is Atma inside the body, that we are all eternal, or merely understanding the attributes of Atma, theoretically, is not enough. One must have it as realization. So Bhagavan, in the first half of this chapter, is speaking about the knowledge of Atma, by which one can come out of the illusion and understand that one is not the body, and all the difficulties, all the problems are occurring to the body and the mind, and also the Atma perceives that feeling of displeasure or pleasure only by misidentifying with the body. All that Bhagavan describes in the first half of the chapter. And in the second half of the chapter, the activities which can bring in the realization of Atma, which are called Nishkama Karma Yoga, is described by Bhagavan. So, both these are essential. One cannot just merely have theoretical knowledge about Atma and be convinced that now I am Atmajnani. Now I can not perform war, or I need not perform duty because I have already Atmajnana, and so there is no suffering for me. One should not bring in that argument. So therefore, to counter that argument, Bhagavan speaks about Karma Yoga in the second half of the chapter. So let us go through this wonderful chapter. And Gita is considered to be the condensed summary of all the Upanishads. So in various places in Gita, you will find texts that speak about Atma and things like Paramatma and so on. So you will find exact verses in various Upanishads. So Bhagavan therefore increases the authenticity of Gita. And so this Gita is also called Gita Upanishad because it is essence of all the Upanishads. Upanishads themselves are essence of the Vedas because they bring one Upanishad, means that which is closer to Bhagavan. Upa means closer, Upanishad. That part of the Veda which is very close to Bhagavan is called Upanishad. And that is present in the Jnana-kanda portion of the Vedas. Vedas have different portions, mainly two portions, Karma-kandiya portion and then Jnana-kanda portion. So in the Karma-kanda portion, Vedas talk about various sacrifices, various karma, yajnas, so on, for attainment of various benefits and enjoy in this world. And in the Jnana-kanda portion of the Vedas talk about Atma Jnana, Brahma Vidya and so on. So just merely by knowing Gita, one can understand, one can get the glimpse of all the Upanishads. One can get the grasp of all the important concepts mentioned in the Upanishads. And so, therefore, this Gita has such a authority that it is compared to Upanishads. In fact, it is higher than Upanishads because it is directly spoken from the mouth of Lord Krishna. And Krishna is Paramatma. And so, Vedas being the breathing of Paramatma has got the highest authority. So, Gita also are the words of the Paramatma. Therefore, it also has got such a highest authority that all the acharyas of all the sampradayas in the Sanatana Dharma have explained the meanings of the shlokas of Gita. Even the other religions like Sikh, sometimes they talk about Krishna's Gita. So in the Western universities, they discuss about Gita. So Gita is so rich in all this understanding. So now, having discussed the summary of the second chapter, we will go and discuss in detail as much as my understanding goes, and also as much as we have time, we'll discuss about the second chapter of Gita. So, in the second chapter, first verse, Sanjaya Vacha Tam Tata Kripaya Vishtam Ashru Purna Kulekshanam Vishidantam Idam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha. So, Madhusudana, who is Krishna, spoke these following words to the lamenting Arjuna. Sanjaya says, whose eyes are filled with tears and who has overcome with compassion. So, in the second verse of the chapter, Bhagavan starts to speak. So, Vyasa says, Bhagavan Vacha. In all the other places, Vyasa was addressing by the names of the speaker. For instance, Sanjaya Vacha, Arjuna Vacha. But when Krishna starts to speak, Vyasacharya says, Bhagavan Vacha. So, he is calling Krishna as Bhagavan, and Parashara Maharishi explains the definition of Bhagavan. He says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashastriya jnana vairagyos chapi sannam bhaga iti angana. So Bhagavan has 6 attributes. He has Aishwarya, all the opulences. He has Virya, all the strength. Yashaha, all the fame. Shriyaha, all the beauty. Jnana, knowledge. And Vairagya, renunciation. All that he has samagram, to the complete extent he has. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, samagra Aishwaryam, samagra Viryam, samagriya Yasham. He has all the strength, all the riches, all the fame, all the beauty, all the knowledge, all the renunciation. We can say the definition of Bhagavan, we can define Bhagavan in this way. If you see a person who has all these 6 qualities and also to the complete extent, then one can identify that person as Bhagavan. So this is the definition of Bhagavan, and one can see that no jiva, no ordinary person can possess all the riches. One may be rich person, very rich person. For instance, Elon Musk, who is the richest person. But one may not have all the strength. He may not have all the strength. There would be some stronger wrestler who can come and defeat him. One may have big fame throughout the world, like Einstein, whose fame, even now we discuss about various wonderful theories that he gave. But he is not that beautiful, or he is not renounced to the complete extent. So every jiva has one or the other qualities to a greater extent compared to the other qualities, but even that quality that he has to the greater extent is not complete. So Vyasa, who is the Rishi, Maharishi, who has compiled all the Vedas, all the 4 Vedas was compiled by Vyasa, all the Puranas were compiled by Vyasa, 18 Mahapuranas were compiled by Vyasa, Bhagavata Purana was written by Vyasa, and such a Vyasa who's so knowledgeable in all the portions of the Vedas is describing Krishna as Bhagavan. So therefore, we give value to the words of Bhagavan. We give value to the words of Krishna. So we should not consider this as another opinion that Krishna is giving, and one may or one may not choose to accept this version. So to increase the authenticity to the words of Krishna, he is addressed as Bhagavan in all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. In every chapter, when Krishna starts to speak, Krishna is addressed as Bhagavan. And because he is Paramatma, Brahman itself has it has come as Krishna. So Krishna himself is Parabrahman, Purna Brahman. That's what all the Maharishis say. So he says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Kutastva Kashmalamidam, Vishame Samupastitam, Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam, Akirti Karam Arjuna. So Krishna immediately starts to scold Arjuna. He says, this bewilderment, this confusion doesn't fit one who is civilized. From where did this confusion come to you? Kutastva kashmalam idam kashmalam. This confusion, from where did you get? Vishame samupastitam anarya jushtam asvargyam. And by this confusion, you will not be able to achieve asvargyam. You will not be able to achieve the supreme benefit for Kshatriya, which is swargam. Akirtikaram. And if you decide not to fight, it will also lead to infamy. Akirtikaram Arjuna. So, Klaibyam masma gamapartha naitat tvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tatto uttishta parantapa. So, this cowardliness doesn't suit you, Arjuna. This is not suitable to you. So give up this temporary weakness of mind and prepare for war, Krishna says. So Krishna calls, Arjuna was thinking that all these reasons I'm giving, so these are all valid reasons, very powerful arguments I'm placing, but Krishna says this is cowardliness. Directly he starts to attack the coward nature of Arjuna, and he says this is not suitable to you, and this is temporary weakness of mind. And he asks Arjuna to prepare for war. So Arjuna then says, Katam Bhishmam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana Yushubihi Pratiyotsyami Pujarva Arisudana. How will I fight with arrows in the battle against Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of worship? Pujarha Arisudana. So these Bhishma and Drona are worthy of worship. And so how can I fight against them? So Gurun Ahatva hi Mahanubhavan Shreyo Bhoktum Bhaikshyam Apiha Loke Hatvarha Kamamstu Gurun Haiva Bunjiya Bhogan Rundira Pratigdam. And he is also saying, I will better beg and live. It is better to eat by begging than killing such great elders like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of worship. And having killed these elders who are desiring wealth, I will enjoy objects contaminated with their blood. So these arguments we have already seen in the first chapter. Again, these are recollected in the first 5 or few verses of the second chapter. And then he is also confused. Now he is thinking whether or not to fight the war also I don't know. Nachayetat vidma kataran na kariyo yadva jayema yadi vano jayeyu. So whether to win them or whether to not fight the war, I do not know which is better for me. So all these confusions we also face. Sometimes we want to take some decision, but we are faced with confusion. We do not know which is the right decision to take. So Arjuna is showing all those symptoms. Karpanya dosho apahata swabhava. By the Karpanya dosha, so Karpanya is defined in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad by Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya says, Yova etad aksharam gargi avidva asmal lokat praitisa kripana. So kripana is one who leaves the world without knowing Brahman. One who dies without the knowledge of Brahman is called kripana. And the dosha, the fault that one gets due to that is Karpanya dosham. So Arjuna says, Karpanya dosha upahata swabhava. So by that Karpanya dosha, by that fault of not knowing Brahman, I have developed this dosha, Karpanya dosha, and that has caused weakness in me, upahata swabhava. And by that weakness, so Krishna said, you are coward, so give up this weakly nature. Then Arjuna also acknowledges that yes, I developed this weakness because I do not know Brahman. And due to the fault of not knowing Brahman, which is Karpanya dosham, I have developed the weakness in me, and therefore I am confused. I am confused. Dharma samuda chetaha. Because of the material compassion and lamentation and tears, he started developing the ignorance of Atma. That he is acknowledging. One who doesn't know Atma is Kripana. One who knows Atma, one who knows Brahman is Brahmana. So Brahmana is not merely the designation given based on certain caste. One who is born in certain caste becomes a Brahmana. That is not the understanding that we get through Shastras. So one Karpanya dosha I was just explaining. So in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya defines the definition of Kripana. He says, Yova etad aksharam gargi avidva asmal lokat praitisa kripana. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.8.10, he says, O Gargi, he who leaves this world without knowing Brahman is called Kripana. And one acquires a fault because of not knowing Brahman. And that is called Karpanya dosham. And Arjuna says, I am afflicted by that dosham, Karpanya dosham, because I do not know my Atma. I do not know Brahman. And so I have developed this weakness. He acknowledges that. Karpanya dosha upahata swabhava. I have forgot my swabhavam, upahata swabhavam, by nature. My Atma Jnanam I have forgotten. And also that has caused me to give up my duty of Kshatriya also. Upahata swabhava. And by that my mind is confused, bewildered. Dharma samuda chetaha. My mind is bewildered by that. I do not know what my duty is, whether to fight or not to fight. That also I do not know. Dharma samuda chetaha. So therefore, yet shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme. You say to me conclusively, nishchitam bruhi tanme, you said to me that which is for my ultimate good. Yet shreya. There are two words used in Vedic scriptures. Preyaha, shreyaha. Preyaha. So when we do something for immediate pleasure, we have only limited vision. Based on our limited understanding of the circumstances, we take some decision with the understanding that by that decision I will enjoy something and I will get immediately that. So that is preyaha, one whose vision is only to some distance. But shreya means for ultimate good. For example, if you want to become a big engineer or if you want to achieve something in the life, you have to accept so many difficulties in the current circumstances, and you have to undergo the difficulty thinking of the higher goal. In future, you will get that. We say to our children, you study nicely. Now, if you study nicely and if you pass exams very well, then you will get nice job. Then after getting the nice job, you will be able to enjoy wealth nicely. You can do seva to the society as doctor and so on. So that is shreyaha. We say for ultimate benefit for the child. But if child will demand, no, I want this chocolate, I want this ice cream, because it is interested only in the immediate sukham, in immediate pleasure. So as a parent who knows the shreya, who knows the ultimate good, we say, no, it is bad for your health. It may be giving immediate happiness to you, but in a longer run, you will be suffering. So therefore, shreya means something that is for ultimate benefit. Now, what is ultimate benefit for Atma? The ultimate benefit for Atma is not to enjoy limited pleasures in this material world by engaging the senses in the form of 5 senses, seeing something or listening to something. By employing all these senses and body and mind, the enjoyment that we get is not the ultimate benefit for the Atma. The ultimate benefit for the Atma is the mukti, liberation from this ignorance of misunderstanding Atma to be the body. So therefore, now Arjuna is requesting Krishna to inform him of the ultimate knowledge. Yet shreyaha, that which is for the ultimate benefit. Syan nishchitam. Don't confuse me again. So you have to conclusively say what is for my ultimate benefit. Nishchitam bruhi tanme. And so therefore I surrender unto you, because I do not know what is the ultimate benefit for me. Shishyaste aham sadimam tvam prapannam. I become your shishya, you become my guru. I think this is a better thing for me to do, because I do not know what is my ultimate benefit, and because I am confused whether or not to fight the war. Sometimes it feels that I should fight the war. Sometimes I think I should not fight the war. Sometimes I think that those aggressors are my relatives. So therefore my mind keeps changing. So you better advise me what to do. I become your shishya. Shishyaste aham. I will become your shishya. Sadimam tvam prapannam. And therefore I surrender unto you. So in the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, it is stated that Tad Vijnartam Sa Gurum Eva Abhigachet Samitpanihi Shrotyam Brahmanishtam. So one should approach a guru who is Brahmanishta, who is completely realized in Brahman, not just theoretically but also by his own realization has got the knowledge of Brahman. By hearing the Vedas, Shrotriya means by hearing properly the Vedic purports from his guru, he has attained the understanding, realization of Brahman. By hearing, theoretically also he has to hear the Vedas, and Brahmanishtam, he should be situated, Brahmanishtam, situated very strongly, firmly in Brahman. To such a Guru, Mundaka Upanishad states, one should surrender and learn the Atma Vidya from such a Guru. So Arjuna is demonstrating that in this verse by saying Shishyasteham, I am your Shishya. By surrendering to Bhagavan, who himself is Brahman, he is demonstrating that meaning of that Upanishad. And what is the benefit of surrendering to such a Guru who is a Brahmanishta, who is Shrotriya, who has listened, heard carefully the Vedas from the Guru? Acharyavan Purusha Veda, Chandogya Upanishad states, such a person will have the total knowledge of Bhagavan. Acharyavan Purushaha. Purushaha here refers to Brahman or Bhagavan. Acharyavan, one who possesses Acharya. Acharyavan means one who possesses Acharya, one who has surrendered to Guru. Vedaha means knows Purushaha, that Parama Purushaha, who is glorified as supreme object in all the Upanishads, is understood by one who has Acharya, Acharyavan. So, this shloka, the 7th shloka in this chapter, is very important because it shows the importance of surrendering to a Guru who is in full knowledge of Brahman. And in the 8th verse, he acknowledges that nahi prapashyami mama upan aponudyad yat shokam utshoshanam indriyanam. I do not see what can remove this sorrow which is drying up my senses. So he is still, Arjuna is saying, I am still in sorrow and all these are drying up my senses. I do not wish to experience. Drying up my senses means what? He is not able to use his senses to perceive this world. He is no more interested in the pleasures that he can get by employing the senses. So his senses are dried up. And he says, even by attaining an unrivaled kingdom, prosperous kingdom on earth, or sovereignty over devas, even if I were to become Indra and become the leader of all the devas and get to the position where I can control even great devas, I still don't want that. Instead, I want my sorrow to be dispelled. I want my illusion to be dispelled. So therefore, it also shows that the Atma Vidya is higher than getting the position of great devas or even becoming the controller of deva, just like Indra. So Atma Vidya is glorified in many, many places in Upanishads. Because of this ignorance of the self, one is not able to understand what is good and what is bad. And Arjuna was placing his compassion. So it doesn't mean that one should not be compassionate. Now, Krishna is not trying to say you should not be compassionate towards your teachers, towards your elders and so on. It is not the understanding. Where should one direct the compassion? Where should one direct the compassion? Now, Arjuna is directing the compassion to the external body. He thinks that by fighting and killing them, he'll be causing harm to them because he would have to kill them. So his compassion is for the material body. But if you consider this example, suppose there is a person who is now submerged in the river and the river is flowing at a much higher speed and it is just sweeping all the trees, all the cars, whatever is kept, even the heavier buildings, everything is swept by the fast flowing river. And a person is also stuck in that river. Now what will happen to the person? He will also be beaten along with the river. Because pravaham of river one cannot withstand. Suppose let's say another person who is standing on the shore, he decides to save the person, he jumps into the river with the intention of helping his friend and catches hold of the shirt of that person and says, I have saved the person. Isn't it foolishness? The real person has already gone. He is already dead, being carried away by the river. But his friend who is having the good intention to save his friend, he jumps into the river and catches hold of the t-shirt or shirt and just pulls the shirt out and says to the world, announces to the world that he has saved. Is it a proper way of saving the person? Definitely not. We all of us know we would say, no, he has only saved the t-shirt, the real person is gone. So now why is this example relevant here? This example is relevant here because Arjuna was also showing such a compassion. He was showing compassion to the dying body, that body which is anyway going to die at some point in future. So showing compassion only to the, now it also doesn't mean that one should not take care of the body, one should not show compassion to the body. That is also not the understanding. But if you only show compassion to the body, neglecting the real person who is the Atma, then such a compassion is condemned by Bhagavan here. And that arises, that compassion towards the wrong object of compassion. Here, object of compassion for Arjuna is the body, is coming because of the ignorance of Atma. So therefore, Bhagavan is going to speak. He has not started speaking. He is going to speak about Atma. So the very first step in Atma Vidya or the spiritual knowledge is to know that we are not this body. And this body is just like a dress that a Atma wears. We also have to take care of the dress. We have to iron it. We have to wash it and we have to wear it. All that is required. But if we only take care of the shirt, which is only the external dress, then that is because of ignorance of Atma. So therefore, self-realization is important if at all we desire to come out of the problems that we face. So then Bhagavan starts to speak in the 11th verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochan Anmashocastvam Prajnavadamsha Bhashase Gatasun Agatashumcha Nanu Shochanti Panditaha. Krishna says Ashochan. Shokam means sorrow. Ashochan means something that is not qualified to have sorrow for. You are lamenting for something that is not worthy of grief. Ashochan Anmashochastvam Prajnavadamsha Bhashase. Prajnavadamsha Bhashase. You are talking about so many dharmas. You are talking about so many arguments that, oh, if I kill my relatives, who will I share my wealth with? They are my all in all, and I can even beg by living, but I don't want to kill them. You are speaking so nice words, but it is all showing your ignorance. So therefore, Krishna says, Prajnavadam Shabhashase. You speak like a prajna, you speak like an intelligent person, Panditaha, but you are not so. Gatasun Agatashumsha Nanu Shochanti Panditaha. Why does he say you only speak like Pandita, but you are not Pandita? Because what do Panditas do? Gatasun Agatashumsha Nanu Shochanti. The wise person, Pandita, do not lament for the gross bodies or for subtle bodies or for anything. They do not lament, they do not cry just like you for this gross body. This is just an external body. You are worrying about the killing of the external body, but a real Pandita would not feel for that. It is a matter of duty that you are fighting. And in the course of executing your duty, some people are dying, some people are getting wounded. All these are part of the duty, but you are only worried about that specific results. You are worried about this result. And so you are not willing to fight the war. So therefore, you are not Pandita. You should not worry or you should not desire anything out of the karma, out of your, because it is your duty that you are performing, and in the course of duty something happens. Person A dies, person B dies, but that is just an outcome of your performance of duty. So therefore, because you are just interested in certain result, you are in ignorance. You are interested in protecting the body of your relatives, which is not anyway going to happen. So therefore, you should know the Atma, you should have the understanding of Atma. Bhagavan starts to speak. So in the next verse, Nattu evaham jatunasham, natvam neme janatipaha. You are saying I will kill this person. First of all, that understanding itself is wrong. I'll take your argument itself. You are talking about killing the brothers, killing your relatives. It is not going to happen at all because they are going to exist always. Natu eva aham jatu nasham. No one is going to die. Now Krishna is bringing in another understanding. Natvam neme janatipaha. Neither you nor your relatives nor me, no one is going to die. We are always going to stay as individuals. Nachaive na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atapparam. Not that you are not going to die only now, in the future. Nacha eva na bhavishyamaha. In the future also, all of us will continue to stay. How is it possible? We know that everyone is going to die at some point of time in future. How is it that Bhagavan says everyone is going to exist eternally in future also, and in the past also everyone was existing? How can one understand this? Because we see that our grandparents have died, they are no more. We are able to see pratyaksham, directly we are seeing they are not there. So what is making Bhagavan to say that? So Bhagavan then clarifies, you are right, people are going to die, but the death is only for the body, he says. Dehino asmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhirastatrana muhyati. So you are talking about death, and that death happens to the material body. Not only that, this material body is subject to Shat Vikar, 6 kinds of transformation. As you can see in that picture in the slide, we are born as a small child, baby, and that baby begins to crawl and it becomes a boy or girl, and that person becomes a youth, and then he becomes an adult, then he gets old and then dies. So these transformations, we see that the transformation, there is a transformation. Let's hold on to see where the transformation is happening. Is the transformation happening to the body, or transformation is happening to the self? Suppose if we ask someone who is very old to narrate his or her experience, they would say, as a child I did this, as a child I did that. They are able to recollect some memory of their childhood and they are able to share their events with us. So they know that they existed. No one is confused. We know by our memory, sheer memory, we can recollect the things of the past. We say, I, as a child, did that. I went to this school. This is where I studied. This is the college I studied. This is my degree certificate that I got after finishing my degree. Now, who is that person we are referring to as I? So there is some entity that was there even at that time. That same entity is speaking now, but still there is some transformation. So the transformation is only for the body. Body is undergoing all this transformation. The Atma is just situated inside that body as a witness to all these transformations. The Atma is just witnessing these transformations, which are occurring only to the body. The body is born as a small child. The body is growing as a boy or a girl. The body is becoming young and becoming an adult, and it then becomes very old. All the organs starts failing and the body is dead. So just like these transformations are perceivable even within this life, we should be able to understand the next transformation. What is that transformation? After the death, the transformation is going to happen. And that transformation is the reincarnation. The Atma takes the next body. What is difficulty in understanding this? If we are able to see the transformation in this life, which is pratyaksham, which is directly perceivable to us, we just have to extrapolate. After death, the transformation is going to continue. What is the transformation? I'm going to get the new body. So in this way, we can understand that Atma is always eternal. Atma is not changing here. Something is transforming, but the transformation is only for the body. The transformation doesn't affect the Atma. So then I'm getting affected. If I go and if I see someone dying, I feel hurt, I feel distressed. Yes, The Atma is just the witness only, but that Atma is identifying also with that circumstances and with the body. Therefore, it gets affected. That transformation really is not affecting the Atma. It is just a witness to all these transformations. But because the Atma confuses its identity with the external body, it also assumes that it is part of the transformation that the body is undergoing. And so, therefore, one gets affected by something happening to the external body or external mind. So therefore, Bhagavan talks about reincarnation in this verse, number 13. And he further starts to describe in the 14th verse, Matra sparshastu kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Paina Nityas Tam Titikshva Bharata. Now Arjuna may say, yes, I am only killing the body, and my grandfather or my guru or my brothers who are going to die will again take the next body. What is the big deal in this? Krishna says that Arjuna may say, yes, I agree with you. Maybe I also understand. I totally agree with you. They are going to take the next body as Atma. But I'm feeling that separation from them. They are dying. I'm not able to see what is happening to their Atma. That I'm not able to see. I can only understand because you are saying to me, but what is happening to the Atma that is taking birth, that I'm not able to see. So I'm feeling that separation. So that is causing me distress. So for that, Bhagavan answers in this verse, Matra sparshastu kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Paina Nityas Tam Titikshva Bharata. So this experience that Arjuna is now saying, I will be feeling distressed, feeling separation from them because I cannot see what is happening to them. I have lost them. I don't know what is happening to them. So that is causing me distress. And Krishna says, yes, that may occur because you are perceiving that experience of the sense objects. Now you are perceiving the experience through these senses. And sometimes you perceive something as pleasurable, something as pain, something as cold, something as hot. So, for example, in the January season, winter season, if you touch the water also, it is so painful. It is so painful, so chill. After 4 months, in the May month, we are able to pour the water and we get happiness out of that. So the same water that was causing distress in the month of January is pleasurable in the month of May in summer season. Why is it so? Now what is the observation? Is water causing difficulty to me? It is the same object, same water. In the winter season, I'm feeling as pain. In the summer season, I'm feeling it as pleasurable. So matra sparsha, this is all because of the sense touch. Our senses, our skin is coming in contact with that object. That object itself is not good or bad, but because of that perception due to the senses, we perceive something as pleasurable, some object as pleasurable, some object we hate it. Sometimes in the old villages, there will be firewood. Women have to cook by burning that firewood in the kitchen, and it will be very warm, very hot in the summer season. Now, if the woman says, no, it's very hot, I'm not able to bear that, so better I will give up this, then nobody will be able to eat because the cooking is not happening. So, despite the fact that it is inconvenient, that woman is tolerating and it is cooking because it is her duty. So, Bhagavan is reminding that in the course of performance of duty, you may sometimes perceive something as pleasurable, something as distress, as giving distress. But it is all because of matra sparshastu kaunteya. It is all because of sparsha matra, pancha tanmatra. And it has it is to be tolerated. Tam titikshva bharata. One has to tolerate. The soldiers are fighting on the on the border of India, giving up all the facing all the difficulties of cold, etc. They are not saying, no, it is not pleasurable to me, I am giving up the duty. No, duty has to be performed. Even if it accrues some difficulty, some pain, we have to tolerate that and perform the duty. Why? Because if we do not perform the duty, we have to face the consequence of not performing the duty. So here, what is the consequence Arjuna has to face if he declines to fight? Dharma Shastras say that everyone has certain duty. And if one fails to perform that duty, one will face with the papam, a consequence of sin. One has to suffer for that. So if Arjuna declines to fight as a Kshatriya, he has to get the results of not fighting, not doing his duty. And therefore, Krishna doesn't want Arjuna to experience that sin or face that sin. So he is saying, Tam titikshva, better you tolerate and perform the duty. Yam hi na, in the 15th verse, okay, I think 15th verse is not there on the slide. I'll just read that. Yam hi na vyatayanti yate ete purusham purusharshaba sama dukkha sukham dhiram samritatvaya kalpate. So, if at all you want to achieve liberation, sa amritatvaya kalpate, if you want to achieve amritam means liberation, then you have to be equipoised in all your experiences of the sense object. Sometimes it is pleasurable, so I am performing the duty. Sometimes it is giving distress, so I'll give up the duty, which means you are attached to the sparsha matra, you are attached to the pancha tanmatra. In the course of duty, you are neglecting that duty. So therefore, you will not be eligible for liberation. So you may say, I don't want this earthly kingdom, or I don't want the heavenly kingdom. But you leave that. You leave both. You don't need to become a king. You don't need to win the war and become the king. Or you don't need the sovereignty of Indralokam, Devalokam. You leave both. But nobody doesn't want liberation. Everyone wants liberation. Because mukti gives the highest happiness to everyone. Just by attaining mukti, all the Upanishads say one achieves unlimited happiness. That is not comparable even to the happiness of that Brahma, Lord Brahma experiences. Lord Brahma's happiness multiplied with trillion times, that is what a mukta gets. Not even trillion times. There is the one Upanishad is inquiring, or it is just giving the idea of different kinds of happiness, and it is mentioned that the happiness that is obtained by mukta is trillion-fold than what great demigods, great devatas get. So therefore, nobody hates mukti. So if you want mukti, you have to perform this duty. Now Krishna changed the argument. So if Kshatriyas fight the war, win the war, they will enjoy this earthly kingdom. If the Kshatriyas fight and die, then they will go to Swarga, shares the Dharma Shastra. Now Arjuna has rejected both. He said, I don't want earthly kingdom. I don't want heavenly kingdom. Now Krishna says, no. Even if you want mukti, you have to perform this duty. Krishna is saying, he changed the argument now. So you tolerate the dukkham and sukham. Treat that as same. Sama dukkha sukham dhiram. By your intelligence, you develop this understanding and fight the war, he says. In the previous verse, he said, you tolerate all the matra sparsha and fight the war. Now he says, using your intelligence, you see there is a supreme benefit waiting for you. That is mukti. That is not the earthly kingdom. That is not the heavenly kingdom. So fight for that mukti, he says. Samritatvaya kalpate. Then he goes on to further describe the qualities of Atma in the upcoming verses. He says, Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, upayorapi drishtontas tvananyos tattvadarshibhihi. So this asat, this body is called asat. Asat means something that is temporary. Nasato vidyate bhavo. So this body being asat has no permanent existence. You can never protect your relatives always, because the body is going to die at some point of time in the future. Either they are going to get dead fighting this war, or they are going to die in future whenever their time comes. So therefore, this body doesn't have permanent existence. And Atma, Nabhavo Vidyate Sataha. This Atma is called Sat. Sat means that is eternal, that is not subject to time or space. So Nabhavo, Na Abhavaha. Abhavaha means non-existence. Never this Sat, this Atma which is eternal, is going to perish. So this Atma is always going to perish, and it can never be destroyed. This body is always going to, it is going to die. It cannot be always protected. So this body cannot always be protected. This Atma is always going to exist and it can never be destroyed. So for understanding both these facts, Ubayorapi Drishtontas Tvananyo Tattva Darshipihi. This is real Tattvam. One who understood this Tattva, Tattva means truth. One who understood this Tattva is called Tattva Darshi. A Tattva Darshi is a person who knows the difference between Atma and body. So after perceiving the reality, Tattva Darshis are not confused. They realize this fact. What fact? That is what was mentioned before. This body is going to anyway die. The Atma is going to anyway exist. So therefore, Tattva Darshis are not confused with this conclusion. They are firm in this conclusion. And he starts to describe the Atma now in the 17th verse, which is there on the slide also. The meaning is given in the slide. So Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kashit kartum arhati. So Avinashi tu tadviddi, that eternal, that Sat, what was referred to as Sat in the previous verse, which is eternal, is spread throughout the body. If we pinch a portion somewhere in the body, we immediately able to feel, because our consciousness is spread throughout the body. So that which is pervading entire body is Avinashi, that cannot be destroyed. Avinashi tu Tat, that Sat which is pervading everything, every part of your body, know it to be indestructible. Avinashi tu Tat Viddi, know it. Yena Sarvam Idam Tatam. Sarvam Idam, the whole body, this body is pervaded by the same Atma. But Vinasham Avyayasyasya na Kashit Kartum Arhati. No one can destroy this Atma which is all pervading. So this Atma is now situated within this body. Krishna is just giving some perceptible experiences by which we can understand the presence of consciousness throughout this body. So we are having the consciousness throughout this body pervaded. This consciousness is there only for the living body, isn't it? If one dies, one may beat the body, one may chop it into 1,000 pieces, that body is not going to protest. Why? Because the consciousness has left the body. So what is the reason for the pervasion of that consciousness? Know it to be Avinashi, indestructible. Bhagavan says, Avinashi tu tadviddi, yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasam avyayasyasya na kashit kartum arhati. Antavattu ime deha, and it is also mentioned this Atma is very small. Mundaka Upanishad says, Yesho anurantaratma, anuratma, chetasa veditavya yasmin prana panchada samvivesha. So this Atma is now covered by 5 kinds of air. Prana, apana, yudana, 5 kinds of air. And that is carrying this Atma. So prana is the reason for the experience, the sense experience that we are getting. Apana is the one that is flowing out downward and pushing the objects out of this body. Prana, apana, yudana, samana. So there are 5. Then there is a air that is responsible for samana, maintaining the equilibrium of the body, temperatures and so on. So this Atma is just present, resting on these 5 pranas, and that is the source of consciousness, this small Atma. And Kata Upanishad says, describes the size of this Atma. It is 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair, Kata Upanishad says. So the Atma is very small. It cannot be detected by any instrument. It is pervading, situated in the heart, it is spreading its influence all over the body. So, ya enam vetti hanta, and this birth and growth is only for the body, as we have already mentioned. Atma doesn't undergo these transformations. And Bhagavan starts to speak various characteristics of Atma in these verses. He starts to say, no one can kill this Atma, and no, this Atma cannot kill it. So one who thinks that he is killing someone, or one who kills someone is killed, both are in ignorance, Bhagavan says, because Atma has no death, no birth. He describes various attributes of this Atma. In the 20th verse, he says, Najayate mriyateva kadachin. Never was this Atma born, never was it not existing. It is always there. So something which is born is bound to die. But this Atma was never born, it is not going to die also. Najayate mriyateva kadachin. And at any time. So this birth is only for the body. The Atma enters a particular body. That's it. The Atma was there even before entering the body. Najayate mriyateva kadachin. Nayam bhutva bhavita na boyaha. And it has no growth, no birth, no death, no decay. So if our body perishes, it starts to decay. Atma is not like that. Death of the body, after the death of the body, it is still ever fresh. And the vikaram that is happening to the body is not affecting the Atma. It is safely going to the next body. Veda vinasinam nityam. And he goes on to describe further characteristics of Atma. Vachamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani granati naroparani. So just like a old man, just as we give up the old clothes and accept the new one. So if the clothes get torn, we replace the dress. Just like that, the Atma give up the old body when the body is no longer capable of existing. One dies and obtains a fresh body. So what is amazing? What is a big thing about it? Krishna says, Nainam chintanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavakaha. No weapons can cut the soul because Atma is very small. No weapons can harm the soul. No fire weapon can burn it, and no water weapon can wet it. In fact, no material object can perceive the Atma itself. So all this understanding that we are getting about Atma is through Vedas. Vedas are the pramanam for us. No instrument can be made to detect the presence of Atma. You cannot capture the Atma by any instrument. You cannot cut it by any instrument. Sword cannot be used to cut Atma because that sword is bigger than Atma. Atma is the smallest of everything. So any object cannot capture the Atma, first of all, because Atma is the most subtle object of everything. So no shastram, no weapon can destroy it. No fire can burn it. Nainam dahati pavakaha. Nachainam kledyanti apaha. No wind can wither it. Nashocheti marutaha. So therefore, there is no need to worry. Achetyoyam, adahyoyam. And this Atma is again and again he is re-emphasizing the attributes of Atma. This soul cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be moistened or dried. It is eternal. Nitya sarvagatasthanu achaloyam sanatanaha. And the qualities of Atma is always with Atma. It is not that now it is eternal and tomorrow it becomes, it will lose the quality of eternity. No. These qualities are always there with the Atma. All these glorious, in fact, Atma is called as Jnana Swarupam. The very form of Atma is Jnanam, bliss. So Nitya Sarvagatasthanu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Achalaha means Atma is firmly fixed in all these qualities. Sarvagataha. The small Atma is able to reside in the ant's body also. The same Atma can also reside in dinosaur body or elephant's body. So it is capable of taking any body. Sarvagataha. It can go anywhere and take any body. Nityam Sarvagataha Sthanur Achaloyam Sanatanaha. So all these qualities, unbreakable, insoluble, It can neither be burnt nor be dried. It is everlasting, eternal. It is present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable. Achalaha, immovable. It is not movable. Its qualities is always with the Atma. Therefore, it is immovable from its eternal qualities. And it is always the same. So these are all the characteristics of every Atma. And who is Atma here? You, me, everyone. Every sentient being is Atma here. The nature of Atma within a germ or an ant is same as the nature of Atma within this human. Just that we are changing the bodies. Someone gets the body of an insect because of the past karma. Someone takes the body of an Einstein. Someone takes the body of Deva or Devata. All these changes are in body, but Atma's quality is same. It is not that Indra's Atma is higher than a germ's Atma. No. Germ's Atma is same as Indra's Atma. As in quality wise, it is same. So Bhagavan further describes about the qualities. Avyaktoyam, you cannot perceive it by the senses. Avyakta means something that is not perceivable by the senses. Achintyoyam, just by theorizing it, trying to understand it through the intelligence, it cannot be understood by that way. So it is inconceivable. Avikaryoyam, it is also inconceivable how it is always immutable. It is present in the body of Devata today, it is present in the body of elephant tomorrow, but in all these different states, it is present in the body of a small child today, it takes the old form tomorrow. The body takes a old form tomorrow. In all these different states of the body, Atma's state is always immutable. It doesn't change. Immutable means its state doesn't change. So now Bhagavan temporarily takes the viewpoints of others. Like some people may say the soul is continuously born and dies. It will always change the body. There are various theories. They keep saying the consciousness is produced because of the assembly of different chemical components. Because the sperm and ovum fuse together and the body is formed, and from that point the consciousness is born. Various theories come. Some people, Darwinists, they say, no, it is all because of the evolution, process of evolution, that the different bodily forms exist. And consciousness somehow enters. At some stage it enters. Various theories come. So Bhagavan now takes those theories. Suppose if you don't accept my words, if you accept those theories, still what is there to be bothered by that? Because the body is anyway changing. That is what their theories say. So Atma is always changing. It is always taking birth. When when body is taking birth, Atma is taking birth. When body dies, Atma dies. Still, what is there to lament? Because anyway, they also accept, those theorists, they also accept the body is going to die. At that point, Atma is going to die. So what is the problem? Atma comes at some point of time. It leaves the world some point of time. So still there is no need to worry. It doesn't mean that Bhagavan is endorsing those understanding or those theory. Bhagavan says, even if you don't listen to my words, if you listen to the theories of others, still there is no need to worry. That's what Bhagavan says. So, having described the attributes of Atma through various verses, Bhagavan starts to speak about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Till the verse 30 he was speaking about the Atma. He was speaking about Sankhya Yoga, which is the elucidation on the attributes of Atma. And in the verse 29, he says, Ashcharyavat pashyati kaschit yenam, Ashcharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha. This Atma, because there are so many qualities of this Atma, it is very small, but it is taking a big body. So there are some contradictory qualities. So therefore, some people describe this as Ashcharyavat. It is wonderful. And also, some people see it as a wonderful object. Some people hear it as a wonderful object. Ashcharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha. Ashcharyavat chayanam anya shnoti. Shutvapi enam vedana chaiva kashit. But some people cannot understand even after describing about Atma in various ways. So why some people are not able to understand is because to understand, to realize this Atma requires purity. And to get that purity, one has to do karma yoga. So now he comes back to stressing the need for performing the duty, because with the impure mind one cannot have the realization of Atma. I mean, one can read these verses continuously, but just by merely reading or theoretically understanding the attributes of Atma, qualities of Atma, one won't be immediately situated in Atma Jnanam. If one wants to get that Atma Jnanam, one has to go through a process, and that process is Karma Yoga. So from the verse 31, he starts to speak about Nishkama Karma Yoga. But not from the verse 31. From the verse 31, he starts to speak about the need for doing duty. So now duty is a means for attaining this liberation. Swadharmam api chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi. So performing this swadharma duties, one gradually becomes elevated to higher understanding, higher consciousness. And when one gets sufficiently higher consciousness, one will be able to perceive this Atma. And when one perceives the Atma, one gets the liberation. So therefore, this duty is the means for the liberation. Bhagavan now connects all these points to this point, now to the performance of duty. So the dharmyad the yuddhyat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So this opportunity of fighting in the war, Kshatriyas take it to be great opportunity. Sometimes we see soldiers take great pleasure in giving up the life for the nation, isn't it? So this is a rare opportunity to fight. So if you think of enjoying the benefit for fighting the war, yes, you will enjoy by fighting this war, because this is a great opportunity. Yadrichaya chopapannam, and you didn't plan for this war. Yadrichaya, it came as a course of time. Yadrichaya, without your wanting to fight this war, you got this war. For a Brahmana, if he wants to get mukti or even swarga, the Brahmana has to keep performing duty on daily basis. He has to do Sandhya Vandanam, he has to do Samhita Danam if he is a brahmachari, and he has to do various yajnas, Jyotishtoma sacrifice, Agnihotri sacrifice. Till the end of his life, if he keeps performing daily, then he will be assured of a higher birth in the next life. That is what Dharma Shastra say, Vedas say. But for Kshatriyas, they are not planning for the war. Now you have all of a sudden got the war, and Yadrichaya cho upapannam. Yadrichaya, it came without you wanting for it, which means it's a great opportunity. What though a Brahmana achieves by regularly, continuously performing his anushranams till the end of his life, you will get by fighting in this war and dying. How great opportunity it is. So first, Krishna is inducing Arjuna to perform this as a karma yoga with the expectation of the fruits. It is called Sakama Karma Yoga. With the expectation of the fruits or the results of this war, one can still fight the war, because it's a great opportunity. Without you planning for this, you got this opportunity. And in course of this war, if you die, you will be getting the same position as a Brahmana who does Anushtanam perfectly till the end of the life. So Yadrichaya Chopapannam. So therefore, the warriors who get that opportunity, they are feeling very happy without effort. And this opens the door for Swargam. Swargadwaram apavratam. Sukhinaha Kshatriya Partha Labante Yuddham Idrisham. So if you perform this duty with the intention of enjoying the Swarga, you are assured of that, and you got a great opportunity, so you fight this war. No, if you say, I don't want Swargam, then you do it for liberation. Already we saw Sa Amritatvaya Kalpate. If you perform this duty, this will lead to gradual purification, and then you will get the Atma Jnanam. And with the Atma Jnanam, with the self-realization, with the Atma Jnanam, you will be eligible for liberation. So you still have to perform this duty if you are aiming for liberation. So therefore you should not give up. So Krishna, by various arguments, he is trying to persuade Arjuna to fight the war. If Arjuna wants to fight this war with the expectation of enjoyment, he has to perform. If Arjuna wants the result of liberation, still he should fight the war. So, and if he doesn't fight the war, then infame akirti chapi bhutani katayishyanti te vayam. So these people for whom you are not willing to fight the war, they will speak of you with bad words. They will speak incessantly of your infamy. So for a great first Arjuna said, even if I am going to die, I am fine with that. But now Krishna says, for a Kshatriya, a dishonor is worse than death. One may also die and one may get the new body. That's it. That's what is going to happen after death. But if a Kshatriya faces dishonor, there is nothing worse for a Kshatriya than that. So these relatives, they will speak ill of you. They won't appreciate you for the compassion. So you have to fight. Now, so if you fight it as a matter of duty, then you will enjoy the results of this war. And if you neglect to perform the war, you will incur sins for neglecting the duty, because that is the verdict of Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastras say if one moves away from the path of one's duty, then one is prone to face the consequence of that. So Bhagavan remains that he will be facing the sin in the 33rd verse. Then in the 34th verse, then he says, all these people will speak of your infamy, so that will lead to dishonor, and for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death. And then all these great generals, they will think that you left the war because you feared fighting this war, and so they won't value you anymore. So you have to fight the war. And your enemy will describe all this we have seen. So therefore, get up, uttishta, and fight this war, he says. So we will see in the next, from the verse starting from 39, Bhagavan is going to speak about Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is the most important part of this chapter. So we will cover that in the second part of the discussion on the second chapter. So the discussion on the second chapter has two parts. We have covered the first part, that is up to first 38 verses, where Bhagavan is giving the basic understanding about Atma. Bhagavan describes about the qualities of Atma, that this Atma is eternal, that this Atma is Nityam, and it is very small, yet it pervades even bigger body. The quality of Atma is same, whether you are a Deva or whether you are an insect. And this Atma is not subject to the transformations that the body undergoes. And the birth and death is only for the body, it is not for the Atma. Not only birth and death, even the transformations. Avikaryoyam, Bhagavan says, Krishna says, this Atma is Avikaryoyam. That Vikara that is happening to the body doesn't affect the Atma. With all this, he spoke about Atma Jnanam, the qualities of Atma. Then he shifted the gear and started to speak about Sakama Karma Yoga. If you perform this Yuddha, because warriors crave for the opportunity, Yadrichya Chopapanam, and you got that opportunity to fight the war. So you should take this as a great opportunity, fight the war. If you die, you will be able to enjoy the Swargam, and this opportunity is very rare for Kshatriya, so you should not miss the opportunity. So he was talking about Sakama Karma Yoga. And then he started to speak about what will happen if he leaves fighting the war. He will be incurring the sin of not fighting the war, because that is a verdict of Dharma Shastras. And also his enemies will speak ill of him, and they won't appreciate his compassion. Rather, they would start to think him of as an insignificant person. So from the 39th verse, which is the second part of the discussion, that will be in the next session, Bhagavan is going to speak about Nishkama Karma Yoga, performing Karma Yoga without seeking any results. And what is the benefit of that? Bhagavan is going to speak that benefit of Nishkama Karma Yoga is Atmanyanam. So he will elaborately explain how it leads to Atmanyanam. So we'll end for the day. If you have any doubt, please unmute and ask. Otherwise, we'll end for the day. Okay, so we'll end the session today by chanting Hare Krishna Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for joining the session.